Greetings all, Benny from East West. This is video 5 of our Python for Finance for Beginners series. So, how did you go with adding in some of these indicators to the code that we did the last time? There was a little slip in here, but I think this is important to point out because it's something you'll sort of come across, but nothing to worry about. So, I'm not sure if you managed to get these 3 indicators into your data frame, but let's just have a look at how we would do that. First one, of course, is just the rate of change. So hopefully you managed to work it out. Before I do that, if we just go into the documentation, this is one way you can do it. And then we just search ROC up here. And then we can see here, we've got the ROC. We're just going to scroll up. So here it all is. So what we're really looking for here are the parameters. So the parameters is basically inputs that it needs to be able to calculate the indicator for us. So we need the close. So we need some sort of series, the data set close column, and the window, the period. The fill NA, don't worry about that. I don't think we really need that at this stage. So quickly again, we can always go help. Then we need to type in ta.roc.momentum. If I can actually type that in. Sorry, like that. Slight hiccup. If we run that. Oh. Sorry, it's ta.momentum.roc. Just had it around the wrong way. This will tell us the same thing. So we need the close, we need the window. Okay. So let's just go ahead and whack that in really quickly. So we'll just get rid of this. Just cut that. So we want to go price ROC equals ta.momentum.roc. So remember we needed the close and we needed the window, the time period. So let's just use 20. Now if we run that, we get this error message. Now these pop up, they are common, but this big red sort of box, don't worry too much. I think the first thing you want to try when something like this happens, when it starts saying, starts popping up these warnings, is just actually look at the data frame itself. And what we can see here is that even though it's popped up this nasty looking warning, and you may or may not have got it, but it was still able to calculate the rate of change, which is the important thing. We just want it to calculate it. So this is the one thing. Sometimes these warnings pop up. Just check, because most of the time the program still managed to do what it needs to do and you don't really have to worry about it. You can kind of ignore it. So let's just pop in with the next one. The next one we were doing was the TSI. So we need TSI. And we need to just come in here, quickly look at what parameters we need to give it to be able to work out the TSI. TSI indicator. TSI indicator. What does it need? It needs the close, it needs a slow period, and it needs a fast period. Okay, so you can just see here that the standard is 25 and 13. So look, we'll just stick with those. It's just easy to stick with the standards. But if you want to do some investigation by yourself to find better settings, completely up to you. Equals ta.momentum.tsi. So we needed the close, price.close. What else did we need? We needed the window slow. So the window slow was going to equal 25. And then we needed also the window fast, which was going to equal to 13. Now, I'm not sure if I'll get another error doing this, but we'll just run it. Yeah, it's going to give us another error. A lot of the time, these errors come up because I'm rerunning over a data frame that's already been created. It's a little bit complex, but the short of it is I could possibly restart all this and these errors would disappear. But nonetheless, we'll just press on with the last one. So that was price ADX. and that equaled TA dot. Now this wasn't a momentum one, this was a trend one. Trend dot ADX. Now let's just have a look at our documentation, because you can see here we've got momentum, volume, volatility, trend. So the ADX is a trend. And here it is here. So it needs the high, the low, the close, and then a period as well. So it needs high, low, close, and period. So let's go back here. So it needs high, price dot high. It needs a low. So price dot low, and it needs a close. Price dot close. And it also needed a window, a period. So we're just going to say 14. Now this will probably produce an error as well, and it did. Right, so remember what we said, like regardless of these errors, let's just put in price to have a look at the data frame. And what we can see is that it's actually, even though it's sort of spat the dummy with these errors, these warnings, it's actually still calculated everything. So, you know, so what? As long as we get the data that we need, and I've double checked these, they're correct. You know, don't worry about the errors so much, as long as we're getting the results at the end. Okay, so that's that. So the next thing we're going to do, I think we've finished with this adding indicators code for now. So if we just come here, we can see here we've got our 3 codes that we've been working on. They're still open up the top here, and the documentation. But now I think we want to go new Python 3, and we'll do a new code. Now this time in this code we are going to do simple plotting. Okay, so we're just going to make some really simple charts. Just something that you're going to need to do along the way. Simple plotting. Plotting some data. So I'll just go and fill this out. So you should be able to get up to this stage by yourself easily enough, but now we've got to import a new library. So the library we need is import matplot matplot library dot pyplot. Okay, it's a bit of a mouthful. As PLT. Okay, so that's all you need to do. You just need to type that code in. Okay, so we'll just run that. All good. Now we can just literally go back and we can copy this again. We're just using Apple. It doesn't matter what you use, but let's just put in Apple. Let's run that, and we're done. Next, let's put these moving averages. We'll just copy these moving averages, and we'll just put these into a cell like this, and we'll just run that. Cool, that's done. Now let's just do some simple plotting. So plot some data. Okay. Now this is what we put in. PLT dot plot. Now what do we want to plot? Well, at this stage we just want to plot, say, the close. Price dot close. Okay, that's it. Just hit run, and there's a very basic rudimentary line chart of our data frame. Okay, now we might want to put the simple moving average over the price chart, because maybe what we're looking at is a simple moving average cross. So all we have to do is, in the same cell, PLT dot plot, and yes, you guessed it, price dot SMA. Okay, now it's that simple. Okay, so now we've just got a really simple price chart with the 20 period simple moving average laid over the top. Okay, now we can do a little bit of formatting. Actually, we can do a lot of formatting if we want. But for now, I'm just going to keep it simple. But what I will do is put in help, and then we'll just have a look at plt.plot, and then we'll just hit run. And then there's all this information about plt.plot. But the one thing I'll just this is stuff you can read through yourself or as you need it. But the one thing I'll just draw our attention to is here, color. So this is one thing that's easy to format. So here we've got the price. Say we wanted to change that price to red. So all we've got to do now is C equals R, and that should work. Right, so now we've just changed the color of the price to red. So we could change, if we wanted to, we could change the color of this to green. Okay, so that's just some simple formatting you can do to sort of make these very basic matplot library charts better, or the way you want them. But this sort of stuff will come in handy a bit later on, and we'll just explore a bit further in how you plot in more detail. You can do candlesticks and stuff like that, much more interactive charts, but we'll get into that a bit later. Just for right now, I just wanted to show you and explain to you the very, very simple basic plotting technique that you would use as a beginner and as I use. So that's it for this video. We'll move on to some more stuff in the next video. We'll keep expanding and we'll keep exploring new concepts. Thanks for watching. See you next time.